Good day, students. Welcome to our CAPE Food and Nutrition class. My name is Shireen Stubbs. Today, we will be focusing on a critical aspect of Unit 2, product development. As a student pursuing food and nutrition at the advanced level, you are required to develop a new creative product utilizing local foods. The product development process presents an opportunity for you to be innovative and to develop entrepreneurial attributes that can assist you in your future endeavors. You are expected to create a new product and refine the product by making the necessary modifications. Consideration must be given to the suitability of the product for special groups, specific age groups, or persons suffering from chronic nutritional disorders in order to develop the product for them. The following information that I'll be sharing with you today should be able to assist you in executing the product development process. Let me highlight food and nutrition, CAPE at the advanced level, to Unit 2, Module 3, and the specific objectives are 1. Develop and market a new food product. 2. Perform sensory evaluation of foods. And of course, it is a critical aspect of the internal assessment for Unit 2. So, let's get right into it. What is product development? Product development is the process of carefully developing and designing food products with the aim of meeting specific consumer needs. It therefore means that you must consider a specific target group that the product will be developed for. There are 5 stages involved in the product development process, and we call them the 5 Ds. Decide, discover, define, develop, and deploy. Let us look at each step in detail. So in the decide stage, this is where you're going to be brainstorming. You're going to be coming up with your ideas for a potential new food product. During this stage, consideration must be given to the targeted group that you intend to develop this product for. Then we have the discover stage, a competitive product review of the potential new food product that you are planning to make should be done. This will assist you in discovering the competition that already exists, if any at all, and defines what the consumer wants or needs by conducting a market research. Do you know what a market research is? A market research is done to analyze consumer trends and or identify consumer needs of the target group based on gaps that have been identified in the market or weaknesses in current products. At this stage, one should be able to determine if the idea that you thought about in the decide stage is feasible. The next stage is define. This is the stage in which everything about the product is conceptualized before you actually make the product. So you have to think about the ingredients that you're going to be using. And of course, we are expected to use local ingredients. What flavor do you want this product to have? What color? How will you fortify it? How will you ensure that this product maintains a good shelf life? How will you label and package and market? All of these must be looked at before you actually make the product. The product is now defined, right? And the product must be safe and have optimum shelf life. So, in essence, consideration must be given to the following. the ingredients that will be used. What is suggested is that you can have a formula sheet and you can indicate the ingredients that will be used, right? So you're going to be working out your criteria for formulating the ingredients, the type of packaging and labeling for the product. You're going to be designing your package, and of course, very critical because food safety is important, the shelf life and factors that may cause your food to spoil. So how will you ensure that your food remains free from any hazards that can cause spoilage? The next stage is develop. This stage requires that the first sample of the product is developed to test the concept that would have been explored in the first three stages. This first sample is known as a prototype. So a prototype is the first sample of a product that is developed to test a concept or a solution using the experimental process. Following the development of the prototype, a sensory evaluation is conducted on the prototype to determine its taste, texture, smell, and appearance. This is done by a team of panelists during the prototype development stage. It provides valuable feedback to enable modifications and finalization of the product. It therefore means that it is highly unlikely that a product can be successfully developed after a single experiment. It may take many experiments or modifications before you achieve the product that is satisfactory to your consumers, bearing in mind that you have a target group. Therefore, students, when you are executing your internal assessment for Unit 2, you are expected to conduct a number of modifications, not one or two modifications, and then you indicate, oh, that the product is fine, it is ready for the market. You are expected to conduct a minimum of 5 modifications, and you must justify at the end of each modification why you made the modification so that you can maximize the allotted 10 marks. It is recommended that the formula sheets outlining the ingredients, proportion, method of preparing, and feedback from sensory evaluations are maintained to keep track of the development of the product. Those feedback from your panelists are very, very important. So you need to keep them so that you can keep track as you modify your product. Based on the feedback received from the sensory evaluations, different samples of the product are formulated before finding the one set of ingredients. This is it, that result in a satisfactory sensory evaluation. Bear in mind that a sensory evaluation must be done at the end of each modification. That is how you get the feedback from your panelists. So, what is sensory evaluation? This is the process of evaluating a food product during the developmental stage and providing feedback about sensory qualities of the product. These sensory qualities are appearance. Remember, some persons eat with their eyes. So just by looking at it, already they are appealed. They want to have it. So we have appearance, we have texture or mouthfeel, and we have flavor and odor. Those are the qualities that the panelists will look for. And why do we really need to conduct a sensory evaluation? We want to assess the qualities of the food. We want to compare the food product with similar ones because remember, we may have competition on the market, right? So you want to compare and contrast so that your product will be unique and will be attractive to your target group. And finally, we want to ensure that the product meets the criteria and will be accepted by consumers. So don't take this process very lightly, students. It's important that you explore and you go through the process so that our products will be acceptable to our consumers. There are some golden rules that we must pay attention to when we're conducting our sensory evaluation. Each panelist must work individually. They are not going to be working together. It's not a chorus. So they must work individually and must not have contact with each other during the evaluation. Well, in this pandemic, the virtual space is an opportune time to explore that. The panelists should not be able to identify the products. Therefore, each sample is given a random 3-digit or 3-letter code, right? This way we avoid any information related to the product influencing the panelists' responses. The order in which samples are presented might influence the panelists' evaluation. So to control this effect, the presentation order must be randomized, and this order must be different from one panelist to another. Both questions from you, the researcher, because it's a research that you're actually executing during this product development process, and answers from the panelists must be written on a standard form to avoid any interpretation issue, misunderstanding, or influence from the researcher. Finally, you must provide room temperature water. That is if you're executing face-to-face. Now, if persons are in the virtual space, you encourage them to have their room temperature water so that they can rinse their mouth after testing each sample. I mentioned market research earlier. What is the role of market research in food development? Market research is the process of collecting valuable information to help you find out if there is any market for your proposed product. The information gathered from the market research helps budding entrepreneurs like you make wise and profitable business decisions. The key to any successful business is to understand what is it that your customers want and giving them this in a way that is profitable to you. Many entrepreneurs make the mistake of thinking that they know what their customers want without ever asking them. This can result in very expensive mistakes. Market research provides the evidence that can be used to demonstrate consumer desire for your product. How are you going to be executing this? There are two types of market research. One, we have primary research, otherwise known as field research. This information is gathered firsthand from consumers through exercises such as customer questionnaires or polls. And then two, we have the secondary research, otherwise known as the desk research. This means collecting and analyzing information that is already available and has been collected by someone else, for example, through statistics, reports, and websites. It's important for you to carry out both types of research to help you to decide if your idea is viable. Now, in executing a market research, you're going to be developing your questionnaire, especially if you're going to be doing your primary research, right? So a questionnaire is one of the most widely used methods of primary market research. A questionnaire is basically a series of questions that you ask either potential customers or competitors. The answers to these questions should provide valuable information for developing your product, such as price people will pay for your item that you're developing, It's very important that the people you survey, they should either be potential competitors or customers. So bear in mind that you should pay attention to your target group. Those are the persons that you want to be a part of your survey. Those are the persons you want to hand out the questionnaires to. Before you put pen to paper, think about the questions you want to ask. Remember that the goal here is to get as much information as possible to help you to develop a product customers will want. Try to limit the number of questions on your survey to approximately 10 to 12. It is very important that your questions are open-ended rather than closed. Open-ended questions will give you much more information than what you actually require, right? Open-ended questions are questions that leave room for an opinion and not just simply a yes or a no. For example, how much would you pay for this product? And if so, why? That will provide you with additional information as you develop and market your product. Closed-ended questions are questions that ask for a yes or a no. Would you buy this product? Yes or no? That will not provide you with additional information that will help you throughout the product development process and also in relation to marketing. Now, you have gone through the product development process and you're now ready to advertise. Advertising plays a very critical role in food development. Marketing strategies are used to introduce products to the consumer and create strategic messaging that elevates appeal and ultimately drives sales. Can you think of any advertisement that really appeals to you and how you would have purchased their products based on advertisements? There that. Think about that. Think about that. The feedback and the response from consumers is measured by the marketing team on a variety of levels. Advertising is one means of seeing what performs and what does not perform. Marketers will note trends and demand in their specific market. Advertising is used to 1. Launch new food products, 2. Extend the sale of products that are already established in the marketplace, and 3. To promote the growth of a product. You want to promote the growth, so it's very important that you consider how you're going to advertise this product that you have made. Now, in doing so, you want to ensure that your target group has as much information as possible on the product. So labeling plays a very critical point here in food development. So a food label provides general information, nutrition information or nutrition facts, and you will also get information about the list of ingredients. Consumers who understand the information provided on a food label are able to make better decisions about the food products they buy. How many of you actually you review the food labels of your favorite foods? Yes, it's something that you should practice because that will provide you with sufficient information about the products that you're actually purchasing and consuming. So as it relates to general information, one expect that you will see the following on a food label. The name of the food, the net weight, right, which is the weight of the food or the contents of the container only. And it is usually stated in grams or millimeters. Manufacturer details. You want to know where this was manufactured. So you're going to see the company which produced the product, the address and contact Details about the manufacturer, distributor, which company distributed it, right? Expiry date or best before date. It's the date after which the good qualities, remember those qualities we spoke about earlier? The appearance, the mouthfeel, the color, right, are lost. So it's very important that we pay attention to that. I don't know how many of you would have purchased items and the expiry date would have passed, and as such, the product is not the same as before, right? Instructions for storage and cooking. Those are the general information that you should see on your label. So when you're developing your label for your product, then you must ensure that those are on the label. Now, as it relates to nutrition information, you expect to see the serving size. You expect to see the number of servings, right? We expect to see nutrition information, right? So you expect to see the nutrients, the calories, right? In relation to fat, protein, cholesterol, sodium, dietary fiber, vitamins and minerals that are actually present in the food product. We want to see the ingredients list that shows the ingredients in order, right? Any special descriptors, any health claims. And by health claims, I mean, are there any health benefits from consuming your product? All those must be clearly outlined on your label. So as we summarize, there are some key points that I want you to remember in product development. Product development is the process of carefully developing and designing products with the aim of meeting specific consumer needs, not your needs, but your consumers. What is it that the consumers are asking? It is a systematic and thorough process. So those of you who are actually doing your internal assessment, it cannot be done overnight. So you should have started already, right? And you should be going through the various modifications. It cannot be done overnight. It is a very thorough process that you learn a lot about the product that you're actually making. Market research is important in collecting valuable information to help you find out if there is a market for your proposed product. You don't want to make these products and there is no market. So you have to have that information before you actually execute. Sensory evaluation is carried out with the main purpose of getting feedback on the sensory appeal and nutritive value. The areas that are looked at are appearance, texture, mouthfeel, flavor, and odor. We have come to the end of our class. Today we focused on product development. I wish you all the best as you execute your product development for your internal assessment, Unit 2 in CAPE Food and Nutrition. It was my pleasure sharing with you. All the best to you. Remain safe. Thank you.